Gentlemen, boys and girls, how you folks doing? Welcome here and welcome to a little discussion that we got going on today. I am pumped up to be doing this. I've been wanting to do these discussion videos for a little while now, and I have finally figured out some sort of format and how we can go live with it. And this today is talking all about who should end the Intercontinental title run of Gunther. Gunther has been absolutely incredible during this Intercontinental title run, and he has been on fire, but it's gotten to the point where, we're wondering, are you going to go up to the main event soon? Are we going to take that next step with Gunther, and who's going to be the man to take the title away from him to begin with? So welcome, everyone. It's good to see you. We're live on YouTube right now, and this is going to be something that we're just going to try out for a little while. I don't know if you guys are going to be interested in talking about Twitter stuff or not. I don't know. But I asked a question over on Twitter, which is exactly what we're talking about here today. Which WWE Superstar should end Gunther's historic title reign? And I have 5 names in mind, everybody. 5 names that have jumped into my brain that I think have a chance at taking the title away from Gunther. I obviously want to hear from you guys as well in the chat. Let me know who you think should be the person to take the title away from Gunther. But in my mind, there's 5 men. But it's good to see everybody. Seriously, welcome, my friends, here to the stream. If you guys are watching this back at a later time, you can join us in the conversation down below in the comments. And I see one question here to start off. Am I streaming until the end of Raw? No, this is just going to be about a 45-minute discussion or something like that. And then we're going to start a new live stream for Monday Night Raw tonight at 7:30 p.m. All right, so the first thing here, guys, that I asked you in the chat was a pretty simple poll. The poll asks the following: who should win, right? The question of today. And the poll right now is showing that 42% of you say Drew McIntyre, 39% of you say Ilya Dragunov, 6% say Sheamus, and 12% say other. Interesting. Very, very interesting. For me, though, I threw Sheamus on that list, and I don't even think he falls into my top 5, man. He doesn't. So, let's just start right away here. Who do I think could be the guy to take the title away from Gunther? Well, the first name that jumped to mind, guys, was what about Ricochet? All right, so number 5 on my list is Ricochet here today. And I'm going to go ahead and say that Ricochet has a chance of beating Logan Paul at SummerSlam. A legitimate shot. Is it likely? I'm not too sold yet, but he has a chance of beating this new kid on the block at the biggest party of the summer. And if Ricochet was to go on and beat Logan Paul, then the next step after that would be for a title, correct? Because you don't just beat Logan Paul and then get relegated to the back of the card. You move up the card. And he's shown that he can handle himself with the promos. He showed that he can handle himself in the ring. He's made some really cool moments in this feud. So honestly, the idea of doing Ricochet versus Gunther for the Intercontinental title, I don't hate. I honestly don't hate. So let's see what the chat believes about that. JV says Ricochet started the reign, so that would be interesting to kind of come full circle with that. Sump says Gunther has beat Ricochet. All right, but that is a different Ricochet, correct? Sean says, yeah, Ricochet deserves everything. The things he has done in the Money in the Bank match, they just throw him into these matches, and he gets crazy spots. Very interesting. So yeah, a lot of people are saying he has beaten Ricochet, which is why he falls number 5 on my list. I don't think Ricochet is the man truly to take the title from him, but I got to throw him on the list because if he beats Logan Paul, there's story there. The full circle. You know how WWE loves their version of long-term booking right now, right? You know how they like that, the story coming full circle. So we'll see. But number 4 on my list, everyone. Number 4 on the list is someone who is not on the main roster yet, but I think could be very interesting if he was to go on to defeat Gunther for the Intercontinental title. And that man is Braun Breaker. Now, I know everyone is going to scream at the top of their lungs saying, Braun Breaker, he's a heel. How could you possibly do that? But Braun Breaker has already been introduced a little bit on the main roster. We saw some stuff when he was up there against Dolph Ziggler, I want to say, a little over a year ago. And then again against Seth Rollins. We saw that go down. He looked great on the main roster. And unless they truly plan on bringing him up as a heel, I struggle to see how fans are going to boo him out of the gate. You know, fans are going to be excited to see him up on the main roster and a match. God damn it, dog. Can you stop yelling? Thank you, dog. But to see where he could go on the main roster could be really interesting. We got a 5-bomb right here.
LA Knight should be the one to end Gunther's title run.
Well, we can talk a little bit about your guys' opinions on who you guys think should be the one. LA Knight is not a bad shot. Not a bad shot. The only problem is that he's on SmackDown. But talking about Braun Breaker here, he would need a big money feud coming out of NXT, right? He is probably one of the most hyped up prospects NXT has had in a while. Like, legitimately, I want to say the last few years, it's been all about Braun Breaker. Now you've got Carmelo Hayes, who's starting to take over, and Ilya Dragunov, who's starting to take over. More on Dragunov later. But Braun Breaker is that guy. He is that man, and he has main event potential written all over him. So I'm going to go ahead and say that he has a very solid shot at winning the Intercontinental title from Gunther as well as he gets called up. Do I think that is going to happen, though? Probably not. I feel like Braun Breaker is going to do something else on the main roster. I just don't know what yet. And the fact that he's already feuded with Seth Rollins leads me to believe he's going to be thrusted into the main event scene and not built up through the mid-card. Yeah, not a terrible idea. So that's why I have him at number 4. Number 3 on my list, everyone. Number 3 on my list here is Drew McIntyre, the man who is challenging Gunther for the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam. There's a chance, all right? There is a big-time chance that Drew McIntyre takes the title from Gunther. We saw these two guys go to war back at WrestleMania in the triple threat match with Sheamus, and that match was incredible. It was one of the best matches on the card. It was one of the best matches across all of WrestleMania. They delivered, and I think there is a good chance they're going to deliver again. You know, I don't know for sure. You never know in the world of wrestling. Something could go wrong. But Drew McIntyre and Gunther are going to deliver at SummerSlam. And SummerSlam feels like it could be a big deal for Drew. You know, if we look back to just a little bit further than this time, so like, you know, less than a year ago, Drew McIntyre was at Clash at the Castle, right? And Drew McIntyre looked primed to take the title from Roman Reigns. That never happened. And it was because Roman Reigns is at the top of his game. Nobody's taking the title from Roman right now. Except for Jay, right? I'm on Team Jay. Right. That was close. Yeah, Team Jay all the way, right? He's taking the title. But seeing Drew McIntyre come back at this time around SummerSlam feels like it's for a reason. And there's a really, really good chance that Drew McIntyre is coming back, put into a feud against Gunther to be the man to take the title from Gunther. You do have to have somebody believable take the title from Gunther because, hell, the Ring General has had an amazing run. He has had one of the best runs in Intercontinental title history, right? So you have to have somebody take the title from him. You do. And it's got to be somebody either believable or that you're truly going to commit in building up. And we know Drew McIntyre is believable. Like, everybody loves Drew, right? Everybody loves Drew. Everybody loves Drew. So it's not the worst bet to say Drew McIntyre could be the man to take the title from Gunther. So what do you guys think about Drew McIntyre? Does Drew McIntyre take the title away from Gunther at SummerSlam? What do you think, chat? What do you think? And then I'm going to ask your guys' opinions on other names that you think and why you think some other names could be the man to take the title from Gunther here today. By the way, take a drink every time I say the name Gunther. Drew deserves it. No, No, not at all. Gunther's going to win. Maybe, says John. Yeah, like all of that. Okay, so no's and maybes. Most people saying no. They do not think that Drew McIntyre is going to take the title, which is why he came in at number 3 for me. But we're going to go from one big D to one big E at number 2, because I think there's a chance that Big E could be the man to take the title from Gunther. Now, I don't know when Big E is scheduled to come back. I don't know if he is ever coming back. But if the goal is to keep this title on Gunther for a little while longer, and you want to have a big moment, like a legitimately big moment, and pop the crowd in such a massive way and have a feel-good celebration, then Big E taking the title from Gunther and having a New Day and Imperium feud would just be mega money. It would be so good, and you're lying to yourself if you think it would be bad. Okay, like you're lying to yourself, because that would be such good TV. New Day versus Imperium, and then you have the big blow-off match, Big E versus Gunther, where finally Big E, or not finally, sorry, but finally Gunther loses the title, right? Like the dude has held on to that thing for so long. So Big E coming back from injury from the broken neck would be wonderful. Would be absolutely wonderful. Wonderful, yes, yeah. Okay, I'm not Matt Hardy. I'm Colin Hardy. We've been over this before. So there is definitely a chance that we see Big E take the title away from Gunther. But what do you guys think about Big E? Let me know your comments here in the live chat as we're just kind of discussing this in live time. Because Big E, you know, like he has been on the injured shelf since, when was that episode? Like, has it been over a year now? I can't remember exactly when he got injured, but it was on an episode of SmackDown. And it was against Ridge Holland, which, you know, we had a bit of a conversation around Ridge Holland not too long ago. March of 2022. Insane. So he has been on the shelf for a little while, and things are starting to progress. You know, I do want to quickly talk about Big E here. Big E injury update. But he says he feels 100% after his neck injury, but he doesn't have a timetable for WWE return. This was literally a day ago. So that's pretty up-to-date news right there, guys. So he is feeling 100%. So Big E is obviously starting to get healthier. He's starting to feel better. It's good for Big E that he's progressing, but he still doesn't have a return date. And if they plan on keeping the IC title on Gunther, that might be the man to take the title from him. But if there is one person, one wrestler in WWE who I think is the perfect, and I mean perfect, man to take the title from Gunther, then it's none other than the man who lit up the main event at last night's NXT Great American Bash. We're talking about Ilya Dragunov. Ilya freaking Dragunov. I think this is the man. We have seen Ilya Dragunov be essentially Gunther's kryptonite over the last few years. This man has beaten him. He beat him for the NXT UK title. Let's take a quick look here. So, Ilya Dragunov versus Gunther. Cage side seats. Here we go. Or not cage side. What is it called? It's called matches. Whatever this is called. There we go. Cage match. That's what I'm looking for. So these guys have had some absolutely incredible matches here together. They have had some incredible matches dating all the way back to their time in NXT UK together. They have been on the indies together. They have had wars against each other through the years. Like, you can just take a look at some of these matches dating back 2016, 2017, 2018. 2021 is that one right there. And they have had another, they could have another recent match. Like, they very, I don't know what I just said. Another recent match? That makes no sense. They can have another match and it could be absolutely banger material on the main roster. Ilya Dragunov is that guy. I don't know how many more matches we need to see from him to prove that he is as ready as they come for the main roster. And I know I'm a little high on Ilya Dragunov after last night's NXT, but like, can you blame me? Can you blame me after that match with him and Carmelo Hayes? Can you blame me, guys? I'm just going to pull this up here. Look at this. Look at this match from last night and look at this presentation from Dragunov. Dragunov was built to be a star in this match at NXT Great American Bash. He is as ready as they come. This was one of the better matches I have seen of the year. This Codebreaker out of nowhere was insane. Like, look at that. The sell from the Codebreaker as well was absolutely bloody amazing. And then if I'm spoiling you guys, I am sorry, but Carmelo Hayes did retain the NXT title, leading to a lot of people believing that Ilya is going to be called up. I am behind that. It is time to move Gunther up to the main event scene. It is time to move him all the way up there, and it is time now to bring up somebody to replace him in the mid-card as the Intercontinental Champion, and his name is Ilya Dragunov. That's who I think should be the man to beat Gunther for the IC title. But now I want to hear your guys' opinions, all right? So I'm taking it to the chat. You have heard my top 5. Now I want to hear your ideas. Let's discuss other people. People are going to talk about LA Knight. People are going to talk about maybe Bobby Lashley. People are going to talk all about it. So let's hear what you guys have to say. Mars says, hear me out. Drew versus Gunther at SummerSlam, and Drew loses due to Dragunov joining Imperium. He spends around 5 months or so with Imperium, destroying them from the inside, eventually dethroning Gunther. That would be some wild storytelling right there, no doubt about it. J-Dog says that Randy, LA Knight, and Bray could all work. Randy's a weird one. I don't want to see Randy Orton be the guy who takes the title from Gunther. You know, I think that's I think that we're running into some problems there if we're talking about Randy Orton taking the Intercontinental title from Gunther. Like, we're running into problems doing that. LA Knight could work. Him being over on Friday Night SmackDown, maybe a bit of an issue with it. And then Bray. Yeah, I guess Bray could. You know what? Bray doesn't need it. No, I'm going to say this. Bray doesn't need that title. He doesn't need the Intercontinental title. Him coming back alone would be something worth watching, right? The more that you put a title on Bray Wyatt, the harder it is for his character to be booked. Like, legitimately. Kamari Bess says Sheamus or Ilya. So let's talk about Sheamus, guys. Because Sheamus is one of those names that a lot of people thought was going to be the man to take the title from Gunther to begin with. Do you still think Sheamus has a chance at taking the title? Because it feels like it's over for Sheamus. At least against Gunther. Would you guys agree or disagree? It feels like it's not going to happen. I got this damn eyelash in my eye. There we go. It just doesn't feel like it's going to happen with Sheamus anymore. It's very unfortunate, but it doesn't feel like it's going down with Sheamus, right? Alpha Wrestling Fan says it should be Sheamus. It could be title versus career, where if Sheamus loses, he will never be a Grand Slam champion. You know what? That probably should have been a stipulation during their feud, but I also see that they don't want to get rid of Sheamus because he's such a good hand to the company, right? I feel like if it was going to be Sheamus, it would have been at Mania, but you never know. They can always revisit it. That's for sure. They can always revisit it. Ilya Dragunov versus Gunther at WrestleMania 40. So that seems to be what people are trying to build up to, is they want Ilya to maybe join Imperium and then feud from within. But I also am going to say this. I think the Bloodline story has cursed a lot of wrestling stories moving forward. Here's why I say that. The Bloodline story has been all about the inner workings of the Bloodline and their dynamics with each other letting in an outsider like Sami Zayn, and just trying to build their family. But families fight, okay? That's a very understandable thing. Families don't always get along, but at the end of the day, they're blood, they're family. That's what keeps the bloodline together. Like, it's what links them together. But the story of the bloodline right now, because they have all these little turns and twists coming from within, and it's been so good, now every single story is going to try to include elements of that. And we're already seeing it. We're already seeing it with the Judgment Day, and it's really good. But now are we talking about Imperium, bringing them up just to have fights from within in Imperium? Like, you know, and if done right, we can see that it's done really well. But if done wrong, what ends up happening is you just get a lot of people put together for the sake of breaking them up. And we got to be really careful by doing things like that, because we've run into the issue for like the last, 10, 15 years with Vince McMahon doing the same thing, but with tag teams, where he only puts people together in a tag team with the goal of having one turn on the other. You see what I'm saying, right? And that stuff has been overdone. So much so to the point that when a new tag team between two single stars is formed, we're left literally just asking ourselves, okay, how long until they turn, right? You know, you're not interested in the story at hand. You're just like, I know where this is going, and I'll wait until the turn happens. So that's probably why that, you know, that I say the bloodline stuff is going to affect other stories, because they're trying to replicate the bloodline story in other stories across WWE. And they're effective to a point, but they will only be effective for so long if you keep having people join factions and then turn just for the sake of, oh, well, we're going to do a long-term story here just for the sake of doing long-term story, right? It could work, and I'm not trying to dismiss it before it ends up happening, but that is an issue that's going on right now with some of the WWE writing. And again, it's not a massive issue because the shows have been really good. But it is starting to become a trend, and you're noticing it not just in WWE, it's bleeding into other companies as well. The Bloodline story has affected wrestling storytelling massively, and the way that bookers are going to try to book their matches moving forward. So anyways, that's a little side tangent right there about the Bloodline story and Imperium. But we were talking about Ilya Dragunov potentially being the man to take the title from Gunther. People, do you want to see Ilya Dragunov join Imperium? Yes or no, chat? Yes or no? And yeah, I'm still going to be doing a Monday Night Raw stream here tonight. This is just a little discussion that we're having here. Almost like a mini podcast, if you guys will. A mini live podcast right here on the Con Man channel. And we're gonna try doing types of content like this moving forward. But let's talk about someone like L.A. Knight. Yeah. So everyone's high on LA Knight. Everybody wants to see the megastar win a title. Chat, give me a yeah if you're one of those people that wants to see the megastar win the Intercontinental title. It doesn't make sense to me, but also this is wrestling and anything can happen. But as it stays here today, LA Knight's on SmackDown. Gunther's on Raw. The IC title's on Raw. That's how it stands here today. And I don't see LA Knight being the man to beat Gunther. I just don't. It doesn't make sense in my mind. No story makes sense having LA Knight go over Gunther right now. Right now. You want to know why it doesn't make sense right now in my brain? Because that's a main event. There is money to be made there, boys. There is a lot of money to be made between a heel Gunther and a babyface LA Knight. But not in the mid-card. That is not something you just throw away in the mid-card just to have an IC title feud. No. You put that in the main event. You do that for when you want a 3-month feud between LA Knight and Gunther. One win, trading back and forth, whatever you want to say. A big story, like a true program, a 3-month program. You have everything you need right there. You have LA Knight being the over baby face. You then have Gunther, this massive final boss. You have Giovanni Vinci, one of the henchmen, and then you have like the you know in Pokemon when like you were walking through like one of the towns and then all of a sudden you see like Team Magma up ahead and it's like one of those grunts, but it's like the elevated grunt, not the boss, but like just one of the next guys up. Yeah, that is Ludwig Kaiser. And you've got all of those matches that you can have, so you can spread them out. You can do a tag team. You can have LA Knight have some help as well. All of that makes so much sense in the main event, but not necessarily for an IC title feud. Because if this was an IC title feud, I guarantee they'll blow through the matches within a month, and then it will just be repeats. And nobody wants to see repeats when you have two really incredibly over wrestlers like that. So keep that for the main event. I don't think you do LA Knight versus Gunther. I don't think it makes sense. They're on different brands. Keep them on different brands for now, but eventually down the line, they're going to meet. And when they meet, guys, it's going to be fireworks, isn't it? Going to be fireworks. Who else, though? Who do you think, everybody? Who do you think? Who else stands a bit of a chance to take the title from Gunther, in your opinion? LA Knight winning the US title makes more sense. Absolutely, I would agree. Daniel Jenis asking Khan, what about Cody winning the IC title? I mean, that's not finishing the story. No, it's not finishing the story. Ciampa, that's a good name. They could build Ciampa up. I don't hate that name. I think in terms of Ciampa, we're talking about another year before that makes sense. And if Gunther holds on to the title for the next year, sure. But today, as of the next 5 months, probably not. Probably not before the end of the year. Logan Paul. You know what, man? I would actually love to see Logan Paul versus Gunther. I think Logan Paul versus Gunther could be really fun. And more so just because I want to see Logan Paul's chest lit up like a Christmas tree. I just want to see the 3 chops right there. I shouldn't have done that. That was stupid. Jeez, man. Why'd I do that? The things I do here for YouTube. I want to see just the chops across the chest of Logan Paul, because that could be money. That could be really fun. But probably not going down. What about Pete Dunne or JD McDonough? Pete Dunne, I guess if they really wanted to, they could, because Pete Dunne and Gunther do have some history. JD McDonough doesn't make any sense to me. JD McDonough really doesn't make any sense to me. They've barely given him any TV time. They can't even follow it up with the Judgment Day story. Like, they're not sure if they want to put JD in the Judgment Day or not. But if you're looking to make a new star and you're just like reaching into your pocket and saying, all right, who do we got? I mean, I guess JD could be an option. Johnny Gargano, some people are saying. I love Johnny Wrestling. I absolutely do, but let's be real, right? Let's be real. Johnny Wrestling is not beating Gunther for the title, at least not as of today. I'm pretty sure Johnny Wrestling just had a return match as well on a live event, and I think he lost to Omos. So that tells you everything you need to know. Bronson Reed. I like Reed. I think if they had the right program, it could make sense. But again, that's a heel versus heel. So we're looking at most likely not for Bronson Reed. Let's get your top 5, everyone. So once again, my top 5, we're just going to go over really quickly here. My top 5 is, number 5 is Ricochet. You know, how the reign started by beating Ricochet. Maybe it goes full circle. Ricochet maybe beats Logan Paul, and he ends up getting revenge on Gunther, taking his title back. Number 4, Braun Breaker gets called up to the main roster, gets pushed as more of a babyface in this aggressive role that he's in right now, and then he runs through Gunther. That could be an option. Number 3 is Drew McIntyre. He is set to face Gunther this weekend for SummerSlam. We're going to see if he ends up taking the title from him or not. I don't think he's gonna, but he is a very solid chance, so that's why he's number 3. Number 2 for me is Big E. Once again, Big E is number 2, and if you want to have a money feud, New Day versus Imperium. Big E takes the title from Gunther upon returning to the WWE. It's a feel-good story. We all smile. We all laugh. We get a title run with Big E. We get the New Day back together. All is good in the world. All is coming up. What is that saying? Coming up Millhouse for Big E? Sure, yeah, something like that. Yeah, so I would love to see that for Big E, and that's why I have him at number 2. And number 1, once again, is Ilya Dragunov. I think a lot of us understand what I'm getting at with Ilya Dragunov. The man is money. There is no doubt about it. Conman, I think Drew McIntyre should be heel again. Okay, what about Solo Sikoa? Solo Sikoa. Do you guys think Gunther's turning babyface anytime soon? If so, then sure, you could do Solo versus Gunther. If you really wanted to, you could have Gunther be one of the challengers to Roman Reigns. Yeah, like if they turned Imperium babyface somehow, Gunther could be a challenger to Roman Reigns. It could be a story where he loses the IC title to Solo Sikoa because Roman Reigns gets involved and Gunther says, you know what? I'm not worried about the IC title anymore. I want the undisputed title. Something like that could work. That could get him to the dance. Reminder, everybody, if you haven't done so, make sure you leave a like on this video. Let's get this video up to 100 likes here tonight. But I don't think Solo's going to take the title from Gunther. But you never know, right? You never know. Solo is on SmackDown. Yeah, these are all the issues, right? Like the top 5 that I laid out there all make sense, you know, for somebody to return and or debut, come up and win the title, right? That makes a lot of sense. Balor, Styles, Nakamura. Styles, why, right? Are we just saying names, right? Like Styles, why should he win the IC title over a younger talent? You know what I mean? Like that's what we're trying to think. Like if you look at the way WWE is moving with their mid-card division right now, it's trying to establish stars for the future. Austin Theory is the United States champion, and then the Intercontinental champion being Gunther. They're really trying to build up the future right now. So when you say names like Randy Orton, when you say names like AJ Styles, heck, even Drew McIntyre at this point, he's a little more up there, right? When you say these names, it's just like, shouldn't we try to put over a younger star, right? Somebody who we're trying to build up and turn into the next main eventer. And that's why Ilya Dragunov makes sense, right? That's why he truly makes the most sense out of pretty much anybody. Feel good story for Big E because he would be coming back and it would just push his momentum right back to where it was before. But Ilya Dragunov just makes so much sense. He's already beaten Gunther for the NXT UK title. He already has a massive rivalry with him. There is so much history to draw off of with Ilya Dragunov, and we know Ilya Dragunov can go. I mean, imagine seeing what he's doing right now in NXT up on the main roster. Tell me you don't want to see that as the Intercontinental champion. Can you imagine him having like a run similar to that of Wes Lee, where he's just doing open challenges after open challenges, taking on all comers and just beating the ever-loving piss out of them, man? It would be good TV. It'd be very, very good TV. And I want to see it. I really do, boys. That's what I want to see. But I think that brings us to pretty much the end of our conversation for the day. I don't know if anybody else has some more names that they're really thinking would be a good name. People saying Brock Lesnar kind of runs into the same issues that we've been talking about throughout the stream, but Brock versus Gunther would be fun to watch. Do not kid yourself. It would be so much fun to watch. Walter Johnson says Drew McIntyre is next to beat Gunther. Damian Priest, probably not. The Honky Tonk Man. Winner, chicken dinner. Honky Tonk Man, absolutely. There we go. All right, case closed, everyone. The Honky Tonk Man is going to be the man who takes the title from Gunther. Oh, we have a $2 dono right over here from Carlos Romero saying, just once I want to hear this. We all want to go big, then say that. Is this, Oh, good God. There we go. There he is. Hopefully it'll happen during or after SummerSlam, or just on the safe side, maybe at the Royal Rumble. Con community, do we miss Big E? Hell yeah, we miss Big E. Hell yeah, we miss Big E. Chat, give me a hell yeah if you do miss Big E as well. Oh, Scripps. Yeah, there we go. Scripps. We're actually going to see a new tag team win the Intercontinental title. And that's what I'm saying. A tag team. We're going to see two people win one title. It's going down. It's going to be the tag team of Scripps and Honky Tonk Man. All right, it's happening. It's going down. All right, everyone. Seriously, thank you so very much for watching here today. We are going to be live later tonight with Monday Night Raw. So that is in 3 hours. 3 hours, everyone. 3 hours, my friends. We're going to be back for Monday Night Raw. If you missed any of this conversation here today, it will be uploaded in its entirety on YouTube. And that is going to be a new style of video that we're going to try to do. All right. So did you guys enjoy it? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know ways that you want to see the show improve for these discussions. And one last time, everybody, one last time, I just want to take a quick look here at what people were saying over on Twitter. If anybody had some final thoughts, Solo, no one. He should stay champ till the end of the times. I agree, everyone's saying Ilya, but a second strong choice is Ciampa. Ilya. Gunther, I really don't care about Gunther, he says. And then Randy Orton, also Drew McIntyre. So a lot of the names that we discussed here today. Yeah, once again, guys, though, make sure you leave a like on this video on your way out. Let's try to hit 100 likes here today. And talk in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on who should end the Intercontinental Championship reign of Gunther. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you tonight for Monday Night Raw. Take care. Bye-bye. Love each and every single one of you.